Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Today we're going to be looking at Sony's decision on Spider-Man being an exclusive to Marvel Avengers. Now, I don't know if it's Sony's decision or Square Enix, but whoever is making the decisions, it seems like we're getting a lot of noise from everywhere. People saying, Sony is wrong for doing this and all of that. Now, at risk of sounding like a Sony apologist, let me quickly put out my disclaimers here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, I'm a PC player. 75 to 80% of the video games that I play on PC. So I couldn't even care at all who's winning or who's losing the console war. Doesn't bother me. It's just the way it is. I'm not trying to brag. It's just something that I realized once I started playing on PC, like, wow, this is actually a cool ecosystem to be in. And guess what? Microsoft found that this was a big market and they created the Xbox Game Pass, and a lot of PC players like myself are enjoying it. I still have a subscription to Xbox Game Pass as well as a subscription to PlayStation Plus, and I own a PlayStation as well. And hopefully when the PS5 comes out, that's where my money is going to, because they've shown that they can keep me in their ecosystem, one leg in their ecosystem, or maybe like, one toe in their ecosystem and the rest on PC. This is business, ladies and gentlemen. Competition and all kinds of tactics will happen. And so this is my focus and my mindset as a gamer. So when it comes down to it, is Sony wrong for actually gaining this, for using this, tactic to keep Spider-Man as a character with this Marvel Avengers game? Question mark. And to me, the answer is, I feel like if they could get the deal, then they have every right to land a deal. Because it's not like Xbox is a saint. Remember, for the longest time, Tomb Raider had always touted, itself as a very strong Sony-based, game, a platformer that's very friendly with Sony. But then guess what happened with Rise of the Tomb Raider? Microsoft was able to pay for a 1-year exclusive for this game to only be on Windows and Xbox. And guess what? PlayStation players also threw a fit or said, we're not going to touch this game as well. So the response that we're getting from Xbox players is only natural. And nobody's saying that the Xbox players are wrong for saying that Sony is wrong. No, not saying that. At least we need to acknowledge that these two companies have always engaged in these kinds of practices. And so when we're going to point the finger at one, we need to point the finger at the other one. The second thing, which is even much more complex, is Microsoft is a very, very wealthy company. Like, they've got money. But isn't it interesting that last console generation, Microsoft did not invest in building studios and building viable and very high quality single player games that were exclusive to this, to this platform like Sony did? Isn't it weird that with all the money that Microsoft has, they never did this last generation? And even when they found out that they were losing last generation, they never even took any steps that were really heavy to mitigate it for this coming generation. Instead, they've used a lot of their money that they have for gaming to invest in a cloud platform. As much as you want to call it, the cloud platform is really nice, but it doesn't really serve a lot of the people that really want these high quality games on their Xbox. They're the ones that are getting cheated out of this, and I see the frustration, but I have to say, the fault and the ball lies on Microsoft's feet and in their court. They need to be the ones that make the move. Many people had talked about if they were going to buy Batman and all that, and the truth is they have the money. The corporation has enough money to make these heavy purchases, but they just basically sat down. Like, anybody would have known, if they did their market research, that AT&T was in debt years ago. I mean, that's something that we're seeing now, but these corporations can find out that kind of information early on, and they can make very strong proposals, and they can make moves to acquire studios that they find to be very, very lucrative on the long run. It's really surprising to me that Microsoft has not made these moves or did not make these moves early on when they saw what Sony was doing. Epic Games even themselves have shown that it's very smart to make moves like this. Epic Games went ahead and acquired the developer of Rocket League because they understand that this is something that's really, really cool. They started paying developers heavy amounts of money for already finished games. As much as you call that practice bad, when you're coming in to compete, you got to pull, you got to make sure that, you're pulling no punches. And Microsoft seems to just be sitting there, while taking a punch from Sony. And so is Microsoft, as a heavy hitter, what is their goal? What's their target? Do they just want to sell machines? Do they just want to sell an ecosystem? If that's what they want to do, then this is how they're going to have to play the game by following that direction and going there, while Sony continues to make petty moves like these. Because I will be the first to admit, it seems like a petty move because it's just one character that could be made available in the whole game. But Sony decided, or Square Enix, whoever made the decision, that they were going to go ahead and just do it because they want to be competitive. The next console generation is coming on. Microsoft already has 1 foot in consoles, 1 foot in the PC ecosystem. If you guys think that Sony is going to stop doing this, then, I don't think many people really understand the business aspect of what it is. Now, it is very disheartening and it's very, very painful because for those people who have an Xbox, who want to be able to, transfer all their games to their Xbox One, Series X, or whatever it is, that's what brings value to them. But let's be very frank. How many games from your past generation are you really wanting to play in the next generation or 2 generations down the road? It's a thing where many games die in our game libraries. If you're subscribed to Xbox Live Gold, the free games that are given, or if you're subscribed to, even PlayStation Plus or whatever, many of those free games, you never touch them. And even some games that you purchase, you probably will never play them to the end. And Sony understands that. The data is there. They can see how many minutes or how many hours you log in and play these games if you have an online connection. And so they really understand that, to be very honest, a lot of players will not necessarily want to go ahead and play those old games when they start seeing a lot of these new games come out. And if they want to, they can always plug in their old games and play. Many people still play old games on PS3, and they also have that data as well. So if you think about what's driving all these decisions, I think it's the fact that business is here to be competitive. And if Microsoft wants to play, they need to play. They have a huge war fund. They need to pull that war fund out because I want Microsoft to win. I'm literally, rooting for Microsoft. And I've made a lot of videos saying this is how they can acquire. This is how much money they have. This is what it's going to, position them for and all of that stuff. But it just seems like they're not interested. And if they're not interested, then their fans need to show them that they either need to be interested or their fans need to go ahead and jump ship. It's the reality. No one is saying that one is better than the other. I'm a PC gamer. I like the PlayStation because of the exclusives. But then what is the reason for me to buy an Xbox? And I think that's what Microsoft wanted to achieve. They wanted it to be, if you're already on PC, we got you covered. So I'm already on Team Microsoft. The people that are saying that I'm a Sony apologist, no, you're barking up the wrong tree. I'm not. I'm telling you that where the value is for me and many gamers is where we're going to actually put our money. And so I think right now the gaming community have enough time to be able to make a decision. The next console generation is coming up. Where do you want to, where do you want to, basically camp out? Do you want to camp out on Team Xbox? You better be ready for an onslaught of what Sony is bringing in for this new console generation. You want to camp out on Team Sony, then, you're just a beneficiary of basically everything they've been working on. And so, the evidence speaks for itself. Let's not let this one thing, this one Spider-Man game hide the reality that Xbox is not fighting in this space. They're looking for a way to subvert Sony's influence on gaming by reaching the PC market. And so they are spread a little thin, perhaps. So if they're going to go that way, then Sony needs to continue to exert their influence and continue to say, we're still here to play. And when Microsoft is ready, they can come in and play. If not, they can sit out and let Sony take the cake for this generation. And that's fine. That's how business is. So that's pretty much my take on this. I don't see any reason why. And if any Xbox fans want to boycott the Marvel Avengers game, I would say rightly so. I mean, Tomb Raider, a lot of PlayStation folks, boycott the game too. So it's all fair game. So, but let's not forget that these two companies, they play like this. Okay. Anyways, that's it for me. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Probably not the popular video to make right now because I've seen a lot of videos bickering around for all this stuff, but I've been doing a lot of the business analysis for months now. And I think right now, we need to just call it what it is. I guess that's it for me. I'll be out. Thank you for listening and watching. Peace.